Hi everyone, my name is Brian Wilson. I'm the current Deputy Associate Dean Research in the Faculty of Science, Agriculture, Business and Law. Sorry I couldn't be with you today. I had another engagement that I had to go to. Just wanted to give you a quick update on high degree research in the faculty and particularly the Graduate Research School, which now operates within the faculty. So this is really high degree students, PhDs and master's students across the faculty. First thing to say about HDR research at UNE is that there are a number of national drivers, a number of national initiatives that are driving the activities and the developments and the things that we do with high degree research students here at UNE. The first of these initiatives really is the 2018 Australian Code of Responsible Conduct of Research, which has specific elements related to high degree research and the way it should be conducted and supervised and so on. The report itself was significant. It was then followed up by a number of supplementary documents related to supervision, authorship, data management and so on. Those are all available on the web. I recommend having a quick look at them if you get the opportunity. But those documents really provide the background and the framework for more recent thinking and more recent developments in the whole higher degree research arena and how we train higher degree research students. That was followed up then by a report, the review of Australia's research training system, which spoke specifically to research training and how we implemented research training for high degree research students. So those documents and those policies nationally are driving the way we deal with high degree research students at UNE and how we train them. There are also a number of institutional drivers, and clearly we have aims and objectives at the university level and the faculty level, not least the recent Time for Change, which we'll all be aware of. The Future Fit process that we're now involved with. And there are a number of UNE strategic plans, research strategy plans, and indeed we've got a faculty strategic plan 2019 to 2025, which guides a lot of the activities within the faculty and the university, not least that they commit to particular objectives and aims with respect to high degree research students. These typically, if you boil them all boil down to an increase in high degree research numbers, an improvement in the quality of the students that we attract, the students that graduate from the university, and the training and the student experience that they have while they're here. So those aims and objectives are embedded in virtually all of the strategic documentation that guides what we do at UNE. So given that there are those aims, what is the overall structure? What does it look like? What does high degree research look like across the faculty? Well, the first thing to say is that the faculty was created in 2018, similar time to those documents being published. The school was created, as you all know, with Environmental Rural Science, Science and Technology, Business School and UNE School of Law. Now, if we look across the high degree research cohort across the faculty, we have a fairly large number of high degree research students. It varies a little bit year to year, around 370. And you'll see that SABL, our faculty, is the top grey bar on the diagram that you can see. The other two faculties, Medicine and Health, Medicine and Health and HASI, combined have less than 50% of the cohort. So our faculty represents in excess of 50% of the high degree research cohort. So as a faculty, we're fairly significant across the university. So given that there is that large number of HDR candidates, and given that we do have this framework and these aims and objectives, we, at the inception of the faculty, decided that we would create a graduate research school to take care of all of the issues related to higher degree research and high degree research students across the faculty. This was in the absence of a central graduate school, which is now being planned, and I can speak briefly about that later. But within the faculty, we created the Graduate Research School to deal with all of these issues. Principally, the aims after its inception in July 2019 were to unify all of our high degree research goals and achievements and under one brand, so that it's a one-stop shop, achieve sustainable growth and aligned growth, so that's sustainable growth in the number of students, but also the alignment of the attraction of those students, their activities with our research priorities, to provide improved training to candidates and consistent training across the faculty and coherent training, not only to improve the training for the students, but to take the weight off individual staff. Support supervisors. So supervisors clearly are pivotal to the success or otherwise of high degree research candidates. So of course, supporting supervisors along the way is essential. Provide cohesive and responsive administration. If you don't have a clean and tidy administration system, things don't go well. We have now created a very cohesive and responsive administration process, driven largely by Chanel Hopkinson, who's with you today. And we also aim to improve responsiveness, connectedness, commercialization. And I'll speak a little bit more about that later as we get to student engagement with industry and so on. So the Graduate Research School, what are our priority activities? Well, the priority in the first instance is really high degree research recruitment. We want to get high quality candidates. So we're not simply looking for candidates, we're looking for high quality candidates and lift the level of the quality of the research that's been undertaken by them. Those can be international and domestic, and there are rounds of funding that are available for both international and domestic, which I'll explain in a few moments. For those of you that are new to the institution, I would make the very strong point that if you can attract domestic applicants, strong, high quality domestic high degree research candidates, we can typically provide fairly generous scholarships to support those. International is becoming slightly more restricted, but at domestic applicants, we can cater for more than we currently attract. In terms of training, HDR training program, we want relevant, fit-for-purpose training, whether that's in statistics, academic skills, work health and safety, law, whatever it might be. We need to put in place and are in the process of putting in place training programs for our high degree candidates across the faculty. And that also includes entrepreneurship, commercialization, so engagement with industry. We're building links and we're building opportunities for the students to engage much more clearly and engage more fully with industry. And that's end users, not industry in the broad sense. Engagement with industry, we have opportunities through the APR internship program, which has been successful, where students actually spend a component of their candidature with an end user or an industry. And of course, we've got on campus the Smart Region Incubator, which promotes startups, the development of ideas into commercial ideas. So those are priority activities within the Graduate Research School as it currently exists. In terms of recruitment, the approach in the past has been rather passive, but we are much more on the front foot now. We have the research prospectus designed specifically to attract high quality, high degree research students. It's a key HDR recruitment document. It's a working document, so those of you that are new to the institution, be aware that you can build your interests and your information into those documents. They're available online, so they're easily amended. We can also get hard copies if we need to. If we fly into some remote destination and you want to give a hard copy, we can make those available. But those list all of the staff in the faculty, our research priorities, our research interests. It's a nice glossy document. It provides information in a whole range of ways, so very useful. So please ask for that if you're not able to find it. And all of that information can be sourced from the HDR coordinators, high degree research coordinators, or through the Graduate Research School, which is the HDR SABL email address. Anything that goes to that email address will wind up at the Graduate Research School. Information that you would like to input to the document should equally go through those two contacts. In terms of research scholarships, HDR scholarships, we have a number of research training program, RTP scholarships, available through the university each year. That number varies depending on funding available and so on, but they're both domestic and international. We have 2 rounds a year. The next one will close on the 31st of March this year, and there'll be a later round on the 30th September. So the aim is to attract the highest quality, high degree research students that we can. So if you are aware of students, if you have contacts, if you have networks, please make use of them and make them aware that there are fairly generous scholarships available twice a year. And we are aiming to attract the highest quality students. The applications are assessed by schools in the first instance. We use a university ranking tool, which your high degree research coordinators can give you access to. But we try to objectively assess the students one against the other. And it's typically fairly competitive. So if you're looking to get a scholarship for a student, domestic or international, go for high quality because it is a very competitive market. So the school priorities are typically provided through HDR coordinators and the head of school. They're then considered at the faculty level, and it's at that stage that we make recommendations to the Deputy Vice Chancellor of Research for allocation of those scholarships. This faculty typically achieves more than 50%, as you would expect, 50, 60 or more % of the scholarships that are available. Domestics, probably a few less than that, because we struggle to attract domestic students. So please be aware that there's a lot of resources available for domestic students. In terms of the Graduate Research School and the resources that are available, the aim is to make the Graduate Research School a one-stop shop. So outward looking for existing and future high degree research students, we have the web page, but internally it's on Moodle. So with the high degree research portal and Moodle, which is moderated and maintained by Graduate Research School, that covers everything from induction, procedures, scholarships, gives a consistent approach to all HDRs across the faculty. So there is one way of doing things across all of the schools. The Moodle page has all of the information that you need from the recruitment to the completion and graduation of students. Everything is there. There's a Graduate Research School newsletter which comes out weekly, and Chanel and Soph and Amanda put that together every week. That gives you a whole heap of information about what's happening in the HDR space, both for supervisors and for HDR candidates. There's a student body representation and input, the supervisor support to give us a clear idea of procedures, training that's available and so on, and also all the links out to the UNE administration and the appropriate email addresses and web pages and so on for all the documentation that you might require. So the simple message for you, for HDR supervisors and for HDR students themselves is everything is on Moodle. You go to that portal, you will find it. If there's any doubt at all, just use the HDR SABL email address and we can provide all the information you need. So please go into the Moodle site, have a look around. In terms of training, we're trying to coordinate HDR training across the faculty. We've got the Research Ready Day. Induction is now online. We've got statistics, safety, four-wheel driving is available. That can all be booked through the Moodle site. So we're trying to ensure quality, but also enrich the student experience. This, of course, is an ongoing process in collaboration with research services, who are the university's central service with respect to HDR currently. And we're constantly trying to streamline processes and procedures. So again, any information or any suggestions that you have, please pass them to us and we can build those in. And of course, we've got, as part of the training, as I mentioned before, we've got engagement with industry. We're building partnerships, we're building internships through APR, through the Smart Region Incubator, through a variety of networks and collaborations with government agencies and industry to build that experience for students, to get them out in the workplace and get them some experience as part of their candidature. In terms of the structure, this is just a diagram to provide the overall structure of the faculty. You'll see that the Graduate Research School sitting in the middle here is moderated by the High Degree Research Committee, which is composed of myself and all of the HDR coordinators from each school. So we have a committee and a collaboration and a clear line of communication through the various schools, through the HDR coordinators, up to the High Degree Research Committee, through the Graduate Research School, and ultimately that reports to the Faculty Research Committee and then on to the university's Graduate Research Committee. So it's a fairly clear line of sight between the school, the staff in the schools, all the way up to the university level. And that communication seems to work fairly well. So any queries, any questions you have, please speak to your High Degree Research Coordinator. And these are they. Business School, George Chen, Law School, Monique. Then we've got Paul over in Environmental and Rural Science, and David Paul in the School of Science and Technology. Those are your High Degree Research coordinators. Those are the first point of call for virtually anything related to High Degree Research. And anything that is escalated from there up to faculty level comes to myself and the Graduate Research School at the HDR SABL email address. Finally, we do have student representation. So from the various schools, we have High Degree Research students that represent the needs and the wishes of the HDR candidates within the various schools. They are a line of communication direct from the students through the various bodies up to the HDR coordinator. We then have a couple of representatives from the various schools. Two of them sit on the faculty High Degree Research Committee, and those are Callie Saunter and Sue Field. So they actually sit on the committee and provide student input to that committee. And again, we report to the Faculty High Degree Research Committee, onto the Faculty Research Committee, onto the Graduate Research Committee. So we have very clear lines of communication. So any issues that crop up, please let your HDR coordinator know, and that'll ultimately make its way through the appropriate channels. Finally, the Graduate Research School, the staff was myself. I'm normally the director of the Graduate Research School. And then there's Chanel, who actually runs the show, who's the manager of the Graduate Research School, ably supported by Sophie, who deals with most of the admin for ERS and S&T, and Amanda, who's down in business and law. So they, from the administrative point of view, are your first point of contact. They'll help you with any administrative issues that you have related to HDR. Okay, and finally, if there are any comments, any questions, any additions, please get in touch with me directly, or particularly through that HDR SABL email address. So I'll leave it there for the moment. I think Chanel is going to be available for questions and answers, should there be any. Apologies again that I couldn't be there. But please contact us. That's why the GRS, the Graduate Research School, is there, is to help. So please contact us either directly or through your HDR coordinator, and we'll provide all the support and help that we can. Okay, thanks for that, and over to you.